You're Dischord.
We are. Hello.
Hello. Hi. And you guys come from Blackpool.
Yeah. Sort of. That's the short answer.
Yes.
Jake's actually from Manchester.
Yes.
We live in Blackpool, but Dave is, of course, Glaswegian.
Well, yes. We'll need subtitles for you.
Maybe some bits you'll need subtitles for you.
Perhaps some bits you will need to translate.
We will let the wife translate those. And the thing about Blackpool is most people know of it because of Rebellion. But you guys have been interesting about your thoughts with Rebellion and your songs with the people that come. How has it impacted you as a band?
That's interesting because I think our feelings about it from when we started the band to now are different. Okay. Because on the outside it was something that happened one weekend of every year. Yeah. When suddenly it was okay to be different and suddenly music seemed to matter and people had an idea of Blackpool that wasn't our reality of Blackpool. Exactly. You know, every other day of the year you got your head kicked in for looking different, that you go to a gig, no one turns up. Yeah. So we felt quite negative towards it, didn't we? Yeah. But like having toured around and played places where we play to an audience of 2 in every city in the UK, now on that one weekend all of those people are in town and everyone knows us. So the Fringe gigs that we've played, we've actually really enjoyed, haven't we? Because
the Fringe is really, really good. And actually a lot of people who come to Blackpool actually don't even buy a ticket these days. They come to the little gigs and they're on all day and most of them are free and everybody knows each other, and it's really surreal thinking there's people I've met in Penzance or Dunfermline and I walk through my hometown and they're like, oh hi, I'm like, this is bizarre but amazing, and we wouldn't have had any of that if it wasn't for Dischord, so it's pretty cool.
And do you think that it's helped you as a band having the Blackpool name attached to you, and also when you see all these people that you might have run into in Penzance or whatever, do you think that's helped you as a band?
No. Blackpool has, the only way that Blackpool has helped us is with the vitriol that inspired us to start the band. It's interesting that you mentioned Penzance because we played 3 Chords Festival down in Penzance, which sadly is no more. Yes. But that kind of made us as a band.
Yeah, I've seen the video of you guys at that, and it's just the smiles, the
It was fun.
Would you say that's probably your favorite gig that you've played?
That's a difficult one.
Well, it's probably that, or the year we played the Blue Room in Blackpool as a Fringe event for Rebellion, where the place was full and people were dancing, and it was amazing. The feeling was incredible to do it in our own town. So yeah, that might be my favourite.
I think that was.
What about yours, Zoe?
My favourite is the Banshee in Edinburgh because the place is amazing and the gig was just so dirty and grim and amazing and sweaty and fighty and punchy and brilliant.
And haunted. Crucially,
yes.
It's haunted. So.
Yeah, and haunted. It was great.
What about you?
What about yours?
That one, all the best ones.
Okay, but what is your favourite then?
I'm probably going to go with the Blue Room one again.
That was incredible.
Just everybody was there.
Yeah. And it's one of those where you've got the audience in your face there because it is such a small room. Yeah. And you're really able to interact.
And like so many of the venues that we enjoy playing, no longer exists.
That's gone now.
We hope.
Is it coming back?
Slowly coming back, yeah. Okay. I'm not sure if they're still going to be doing gigs, but I believe it's been bought and it's reopening. So
that's a good thing.
One of those times.
When I was at Rebellion last year, I was disappointed to hear there was nothing there, and then I found out it wasn't around. So.
There have been fringe shows at the Tash, though, at the Rose and Crown, which have been fantastic.
And did you play that this year?
We couldn't this year. We were supposed to play, but tragedy intervened, and we had to leave.
Oh gosh.
Sadly, yeah. Next year.
I won't ask. But your songs, they're very lyrically very interesting to me because they have two very distinct themes. You've got your political theme. I know it probably comes from you, Zoe, because the Vote for No One. But also you've got the horror theme. It's some of the songs are like a horror film. Who writes those?
Chris.
I write the lyrics.
Yeah.
You can blame me.
Do you write the lyrics for everything then?
I mean, it's always open for discussion and interpretation
No,
and
it's not.
suggestion.
He won't let us do anything.
He bullies us.
No, Chris is the lyricist, but we have little sort of snippets of input and stuff like that. So it's quite good.
Yeah, it's always important for me that the lyrics, if not written in their entirety, or at least exist in some skeletal form before we start writing music, because I feel that if you get some words and some music, it's a bit disparate. But for me, like, the meaning of the song has to bleed into every aspect of the performance and the writing. And we love horror. We grew up on horror, and no one's ever mentioned that before. So thank you.
You're welcome.
But it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, how can you write political lyrics and not feel horrified?
Very true.
Yeah, the two go hand in hand. And it's almost like we all really like a show called Black Mirror, the Charlie Brooker show, and it's almost like a dystopian kind of representation of society and where it could possibly go. And I think we felt an affinity with that because that's what our lyrics are, and that's what our songs are. It's kind of this is the world we live in, and perhaps we distort it, perhaps we put our own slant on it, but because we often talk about, our lyrics can be violent and destructive, and I consider that to be metaphorical in a sense that, but on the other hand, it's, well, we're faced with destruction, so do it properly or change. I suppose it's supposed to be an omen of some description or a warning.
Like many dystopian novels and films are.
Exactly. Any good horror story should be cautionary.
Watch this, do this, don't follow it.
Or don't, and then don't come crying to us.
Exactly.
No, but thank you. No one's ever picked up on that before.
When I'm driving around and it comes on in the car and I hear certain songs, I'm picturing like the horror films in my head as I'm listening to the lyrics.
When we were writing War or Peace, we just spent a week pretty much together, locked in a room, and we watched The Shining at night, like that. Not sort of deliberately to influence, but it was just where we were at. The claustrophobia, the paranoia, and I think that probably bled into it somewhat.
Definitely, I think so, but it's a good way. I really enjoy that. And you're now on what, your third album?
Third album, yeah.
And what's that called?
War or Peace.
Yes.
It's my favourite of our albums. I don't know about you guys. And it's especially important to us because it's the first album with Jake on. I mean, the first two albums I played drums on just through sheer necessity because there was nobody else. And then we had Parker, who played with us for ages, and then he left to start his own band, and we didn't want to go that way again. We wanted a fourth member of Dischord, and that wasn't easy. That wasn't an easy person to find.
No, it isn't. No.
Enter this guy.
And then you weren't really a permanent member for a while, or am I remembering that wrong?
A live drummer at first,
Yeah.
and then as time went on, more and more involved.
Yeah. We adopted him.
Adopted family.
He's a rescue drummer.
You adopt the Mancunian. That's very sweet of you. And where can people buy War or Peace and your other releases?
You can buy everything we've done on Bandcamp. Just search Dischord UK. It's all on there. There are a few free tracks as well. Most of our stuff's free to listen to on Reverb Nation and YouTube and Spotify, because we're terrible at asking for money.
But you should give them money for their stuff because it's brilliant.
It might help.
So they can put out the next one.
Yeah.
Well, we always try to. It's a conflict, isn't it? Because you create this stuff to connect with people and to try and provide some catharsis for yourself and hopefully other people, and it's true, and then when you turn around and put a price tag on it, it somehow reduces it to just being a product, and that's painful. So it's always important for us that people can listen to it for free if they want to. So we're kind of lucky now where we have enough of a following that people do like to buy stuff. So with War or Peace, we said, let's do what we've always wanted, and let's commission lots of artwork and do a limited edition bundle. And we had special t-shirts, and we thought no one's going to buy this, and we put these bundles out, and fortunately people did, and it pretty much paid for the recording.
And you had the tarot cards as well. I love those tarot cards.
We worked with a Blackpool artist called Mark Hetherington, and the guy's an absolute genius. We've known him for years.
He's a good friend,
and it was just,
and he's amazing. He's a really good artist, so commission him for stuff.
And the tarot cards were gorgeous.
and almost sold out. We've only got about 2 of those bundles left, and when they're gone, they're gone. So. But we'll work with Mark again. Definitely.
Be another project with it.
Yeah.
What would you say, each of you, your favorite song to play on stage?
Here Come the Weeds.
Oh, yeah, that's a good choice. I'm going to go with White Feathers. It's a track off War or Peace, because we're all about audience interaction. And that's one of those songs, if there's no crowd, it doesn't work. But when there's a crowd, it's my favourite, yeah.
I'm going to have to say Red Poppies, because even though we don't do it live, on the recording there's a snippet of a Chaplin speech from The Great Dictator, which I'm sure everybody has heard before, but it's so relevant, and people who don't know me might not know this, but Chaplin is my all-time hero. I've loved him since I was a kid, and it was so important for that to actually be on that track. So
I'm going to go all the way over here.
I'm going to say Seaside Suicide, only because it was the first track we ever wrote as a band, and I feel it's the one that gets people moving the most. It's the one we get most interaction from the crowd from, so I would go with that.
I think everybody can relate to it too, because even if you're not born in the seaside, sometimes you just feel like wherever you came from isn't where you belong, and
that's exactly what it's supposed to do to you.
Yeah.
And what's next for the band? What are you guys thinking of doing next?
Well, go on. Say.
Go on.
Okay. Well, we've just released our 3rd album, like you said. That was last year. We launched it at New Rose Festival in Penzance. It was great. And we were like, you know what? We've done 3 albums very, very quickly, so let's just enjoy it. And then we can't, because we have to keep writing, because there's something wrong with us. So we're already planning the 4th album.
I look forward to that, because you guys are one of the few bands where I can have it on in the car and it keeps coming on again and again on the shuffle. I don't get bored with it, so it's always an enjoying experience to hear in the car. So definitely look forward to the next one.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
And one last question. You've always bounced into the audience whenever you are on stage. What brings you to do that?
It's not deliberate. It's really not deliberate.
You just pogo everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's... I can't function in society. I can't be, and because the person that I am when I'm on stage is not who I am the rest of the week. Because if I was, I'd go insane. I'd be dead by now. So it's just unleashing something, and there's no plan. I don't mean to be any certain way. And the music moves me to move. And the bands that I grew up watching were always very energetic on stage, and that's what I want to see. And the whole point of Dischord was to be the kind of band that we would want to listen to and want to see live. So it just comes naturally, yeah.
And you're fun to watch. You're great to listen to. So it all works.
It's fun for us to watch him too, because I never know what he's going to do. Which is why he ends up hurting himself so much. And I think, is he all right?
You don't want him to do that. No, not tonight at least.
Not tonight.
Well, I want to thank you guys very much. And we look forward to the new material you're writing and seeing you on stage in a few.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers, thank
you
you.
very much.
It's
Cheers.
been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jake.
Staying quiet.
She's a power by a bunch of shots, running all the fun.